Good afternoon, everyone. Today's video is about a salad somen lunch and early summer Japanese traditional way of cleaning. As usual, I'll be cooking with tasukigake. Today, I'm wearing a tsujikahana cotton kimono. As the pattern is a beautiful purple, I've chosen a pale pink cherry blossom patterned cord for my tasukigake. First, I'll bring a small pan of water to the boil. One bundle of somen is a touch too little for me, so I use 2 bundles per person. This somen is hand-pulled, and it's absolutely delicious. Hand-pulled somen has a much smoother texture than the machine-made variety. Finally, I'll add some kanikama, a type of fish paste product made to resemble crab meat. This gives the dish plenty of protein, making for a nutritious, delicious, and healthy lunch. Now, let's go and pick the salad leaves to put on top of the somen from the salad garden in front of the cottage. I'll pick a few slightly bitter lettuces and some green leaf varieties. I've also picked a little red shiso, which has a distinctive flavor and is very tasty for me. I picked some nasturtium leaves and flowers too. They have a slightly peppery flavor and make a lovely accent. I have a method I'd recommend for boiling somen, so let me share it. Add the somen to boiling water and stir with cooking chopsticks for 10 seconds. Then put the lid on and leave it for 5 minutes. This makes wonderfully tasty, springly, silky smooth somen. Do give it a try. While the somen is cooking, I wash the salad. As these are naturally grown vegetables, a light rinse is all that's needed. But I do check carefully for any insects or bits of debris. Once checked, I'll finely chop the vegetables so they mix in easily with the somen. For the nasturtium flowers, I remove the calyx from the center and use only the edible petals. I use a metal colander and bowl as a temporary holding place for the vegetable scraps and inedible parts before discarding them. Once drained in the colander, all the plant-based food waste, along with things like eggshells, goes into the compost, which I use on the natural farming plot. I'm preparing a basket to serve the somen on. Half of the kanikama goes on top of the somen, and the other half I'll have as a kind of sashimi dipped in sweet vinegar. I'm very fond of kanikama and use it very often. It's usually sold in a supermarket for around 200 yen a pack. So if you ever visit Japan, do try some. This bottle contains my homemade mentsuyu noodle dipping sauce. I heat equal amounts of soy sauce and mirin in a small pan and wait until it comes to the boil. After about 1 or 2 minutes, small bubbles will start to form. At that point, I take it off the heat straight away and add kombu and katsuobushi, bonito flakes. Then leave it to cool. This makes concentrated mentsuyu. To serve, I put some grated ginger and this mentsuyu base into a small dipping bowl. Then add 2 to 3 times the amount of water, depending on taste. And the somen dipping sauce is complete. Once the somen is cooked, I'll drain it in a colander and rinse it under cold water to ferment the noodles. Using cold well water makes for truly delicious somen. At home, we use natural spring water drawn up from underground for everything: cooking, washing up, and laundry. I feel this is a real luxury and richness. Being able to use pure natural water for everything in daily life makes me very happy. Once the somen has cooled thoroughly, let's arrange it on the plate. I take up bite-sized portions of somen with my fingers and lay them neatly on the basket. Somen tends to stick together the longer it sits after boiling. By arranging it in small bite-sized bundles, you can avoid the sad mishap of the whole lot coming up in one go when you pick it up with your chopsticks. Do give this a try. It also makes for a much more attractive presentation, which is another reason I like doing it this way. Once the somen is arranged, let's place the chopped salad on top. Finally, I'll arrange shredded kanikama in a radial pattern on top. The nasturtium flowers are such a beautiful orange, so it's turned out looking lovely and vibrant and truly delicious. The combination of cold somen and warm green tea is wonderful. I put a teaspoon of tea leaves into a tea strainer and pour over water at around 90 degrees. This lets the leaves move around freely and infuse properly. making for delicious green tea. Now the salad Somen lunch is complete. Let's prepare some warm green tea and enjoy it out in the dining area outside. I tucked the tenugui, which I'd been using as an apron, into my collar instead, to keep it from getting dirty. First, I'll take a sip of green tea, then try the somen and the kanikama sashimi. It's wonderfully smooth with a lovely crisp texture from the vegetables. Truly delicious. I've made the dipping sauce, mentsuyu, myself too, so it has a rich flavor and a lovely aroma spreads out beautifully when the noodles are dipped in it. I often have lunch out here in this outdoor dining area, lighting a candle and eating whilst gazing out at the beautiful mountain view before me is a truly happy moment. Now that I've had something to eat, let's begin cleaning in the traditional early summer Japanese way. First, I'll move anything portable into another room to make the space easier to clean. The traditional Japanese method of cleaning is to remove dust working from top to bottom. For this, I use a cleaning tool called a hataki, a feather duster. I made this hataki myself using cloth scraps from an old kimono. It was a kimono with a pattern I loved, so I treasured the feeling of being able to use it right through to the very end like this. I think there's a culture in Japan of using things for as long as possible, right to the last. It's partly about reducing waste, but there's also this idea, like with the scraps from the kimono, which once protected my body and had served its purpose as a garment, and now becomes a cleaning tool or a tapestry to decorate a room, of keeping alive the spirit that dwells within an object, right to the end. I'm very fond of this traditional Japanese way of thinking that a spirit dwells within all things, that the 8 million gods surround us in our everyday lives. After using the hataki to remove the dust and cobwebs that gather up among the ceiling beams, I'll sweep away the dust and debris that has fallen to the floor with a broom. When I clean the ceiling with the hataki and sweep the tatami floor with the broom, dust tends to fall down and fly up. If deed settles on my nihongami, traditional Japanese hairstyle, it can easily spoil the shape. So I cover my head with a tenugui, a hand towel. I wash my hair every day myself, But in the past, Japanese women used to set their nihongami using generous amounts of 元CA油, a special hair wax, to hold the style firmly in place. Because of this, they were apparently only able to bath and wash their hair a few times a month. So, in order to keep their hair neat and tidy in between washes, they adopted this method of covering it with a tenugoi. Once I've gathered the debris into one place and collected it with a dustpan, I go over the floor with a damp cloth. Tatami mats have a grain, a particular direction to the weave, and by moving the cloth along the direction, you prevent debris getting caught between the fibers, which helps keep the tatami looking cleaner for longer. The edges of the tatami are bound with fabric trim, so I make sure to wipe that thoroughly too. Tatami is a natural material, so it breathes on its own. Japanese summers are very humid and terribly hot, but whenever I spend time on tatami floor, it always feels pleasantly cool underfoot. I'm very fond of that. Now that I've finished wiping them down, I put the floor chairs back in their original place. Unlike Japanese people in the past who were used to living whilst sitting formally on the floor, we too often sit in chairs with a backrest. My husband in particular likes to relax leaning back against a backrest, so we use these floor chairs on the tatami. For the children, we have smaller, child-sized floor chairs too. After that, I wipe down the larger appliances that can't be moved, like the television, first with a damp cloth and then with a dry one. I'll give the table a good wipe too. Once I've finished cleaning the living room, Let's sweep the entrance with a broom. That's today's cleaning done. Thank you for watching today's video. I hope to see you very soon.